manufacturing scheme. As I was explaining, if you have just the finished product in your country, then your ecosystem doesn't get fully set. So the way we worked was, we first got the finished products, then we started working on the modules. Now then we started focusing on the electronics components, so that the entire chain and the entire ecosystem gets firmly established in our country. And now we are going to go for materials. Our next step is to go for materials. We want to manufacture even the materials which are going to be used in making the components.
You mean the raw materials?
Yeah, the raw materials. Because these are all electronics grade special materials. They have to be ultra pure. So we have to get this entire ecosystem fully established, so that, and the world wants India to emerge as a major electronics manufacturer. World trusts us. There is a huge trust in our capabilities, and our respect for IP rights is very well acknowledged everywhere. So it's very important that we set up this entire industry properly in our country. And this becomes a major employment generator for our youth. I give you one example of CG Semi. CG Semi, the persons working in the plant in Sanand, some of those girls, we interacted with one girl from Jharkhand. First time she left home from a village, she went to Malaysia. She had not even gone to a big city. She went to Malaysia, got trained there. Now she is very proudly working in a clean room in a semiconductor facility. Imagine the transformation it brings. I've given this example before. One of the girls who was working on a mobile phone manufacturing unit, she said that when I go back to my village in Bihar, I get more respect than the Pradhan when I say that I am manufacturing the mobile phones. So that transformative change is happening. So it's very important that we make sure that this industry is firmly established in our country.
This does not have any sort of preference for or any criteria based on the investment or threshold return.
We should not keep those things. It's very important. We have to manufacture everything that can be manufactured.
So there is no criteria in terms of that.
We should manufacture everything here.
Which is, I think, takes care of Tanya's question in terms of making sure that MSMEs are.
Does it help you? Thank you. I didn't understand your question properly, maybe. Survi understood it well. All right.
Sir,
oh, you have.
Sir, on the MSME.
Supplementary question.
Yes, sir. Sir, like you said, the part is limited by whatever cabinet has approved. So will MSME get certain protection? Because
yeah, scheme contours have been very well defined, very transparently published. We'll go by those scheme contours. Okay.
Sir, a couple of questions. Number one.
Were you there in the presentation?
Yes, sir. I heard it online, so I heard the whole thing. Sir had talked about how there was consultation at every step with the industry, and that has partly contributed to the quick rollout of the scheme.
Yeah.
My question there is, has the industry at any point expressed a need for rationalization of tariffs, either increasing, say, the basic customs duty on certain competing products, or decreasing on certain raw materials which we are not...
No, industry has not made those statements.
Okay, because in the budget there was discussion around...
That we have already done. That we have already done.
But for instance, the BCD on certain telecom equipment was increased to incentivize local manufacturing. The BCD on certain raw materials...
That is already done in the last budget, no? This is not part of this.
Whatever we needed to do, including for components, was done as a rationalization in the last budget after consultation with industry.
So that was done in anticipation of this. Okay. And the other question...
And now we are working in anticipation of manufacturing materials.
Okay. So we should expect the BCD, for instance, on oxygen-free copper to go up instead of no. So that
individual items. Why get into that?
Okay, got it. The other thing is a follow-up question on the two questions about rare earth minerals and elements. So while I understand, and you also mentioned that only two applicants thus far have expressed an interest in rare earth.
It's not that. The question was, which are the companies which will require rare earth minerals, right? So we said there are two applicants which require rare earth minerals as input to their manufacturing. right? That's the point. For example, a capacitor, you don't need any rare earth in that, right? A resistor, a PCB, you don't need rare earths in that, right? So question is whether your entire program is dependent upon rare earths for its success. No, it is not dependent upon that. There are only 2 applicants which depend upon that, and they have the supply chains well established.
Okay, so they're depending on supply of rare earth from outside India or within India?
I don't know.
The reason I ask this is because some of the auctions haven't taken off or have been cancelled.
No, it's ask the Ministry of Mines. Now, why are you putting this question here? All right, friends. Thank you very much. आप सबको विजयादशमी की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं। आज एक बहुत अच्छी खबर देने के लिए आपको निमंत्रित किया है। इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स कंपोनेंट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग स्कीम ECMS, Electronics Component Manufacturing Scheme. The applications closed on 30th September. We have received applications worth 1,15,351 crore. It's a historic number, it's a record number. Unprecedented investment applications have come in the Electronics Component Manufacturing Scheme. ये स्कीम जिसमें 1,15,351 करोड़ रुपए का इन्वेस्टमेंट की एप्लीकेशंस आई है इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स कंपोनेंट मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में, ये दर्शाता है, ये क्लियरली शो करता है कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पर फोकस है और जो पिछले 11 वर्षों में जो ट्रस्ट डेवलप हुआ है दुनिया भर का भारत पर, ये ट्रस्ट आज इन्वेस्टमेंट में, प्रोडक्शन में और एम्प्लॉयमेंट में परिणत हो रहा है. इट्स रिजल्टिंग इनटू इन्वेस्टमेंट, एम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड एक्स्ट्रा प्रोडक्शन. Against a target which was again a very ambitious target we had taken of 59,350 crore rupees investment, we have received applications for 1,15,351 crore. Against a production target of 4,56,500 crore, 4.5 lakh crore, we have received production estimates more than 10 lakh crore, 10,34,000 crore. So that is more than double what we had targeted. Employment, we had targeted 91,600 persons. Here the employment which is expected is 1.5 times at 1,41,000 persons employment. So this is very significant, and I would like the department to make a detailed presentation on the entire application process and what we have received so far, which are the sectors, which are the components which have received maximum support.
Currently in the electronics ecosystem, we have 2 elements which we are pushing. One is what are called the active components, semiconductors. As you are aware, Semicon 1.0 is virtually near completion, and Semicon 2.0, the formulation is at an advanced stage. On the non-semiconductor side, which we call the passive side, we've had a number of programs. There was first the PLI for large-scale electronic manufacture, which is for mobile, as it was called, the mobile PLI, which is amongst the 14 PLI schemes of the Government of India, the most successful so far. And then there was the PLI scheme for IT hardware, followed by the ECMS scheme, which has just been notified on 8th of April 2025. And the date for applications is open till 30th of September, and we have an update for you, as the Minister just pointed out. Now, the tenure of the scheme is 6 years. The total amount of incentive which is to be disbursed is 22,919 crore. And the basic idea here is to deepen the value chain in India and ensure that overall the domestic value add component is substantially increased, at least doubled from the present years. That is the basic objective of the scheme, and to ensure integration with the global value chains, which is the nature of production in the case of electronics. And the target was that an investment goal of 59,350 crore would be reached. That's roughly $7 billion. The total production targeted was 4,56,500 crore, which is of various kinds of components, and an employment generation of 91,600 crore. Against this, and this is split, the subcomponents, there were a number of subcomponents into which this was broken up. There are module sub-assemblies, specifically display and camera, because these are amongst the highest value-added items in any electronics goods. Then there are non-assembly passive components, electromechanicals, multi-layer PCB, so different items of this nature. And certain bare components which are of higher tech, including HDI and flexible PCBs and so on, so which require higher technology interventions. Plus, there are certain areas where a number of MSMEs and others would also manufacture various subcomponents. Parts and components of the main components would be manufactured by many of them, and in addition for capital goods manufacture, because capital goods manufacture in the country today, a lot of the capital goods actually get imported, and one of the reasons why we do not have extensive capital good manufacture is because the ecosystem needs to be large enough, and given that the electronics industry is growing rapidly, manufacturing capital goods for electronics industry would become a viable proposition in India. So that is the basis on which these have been selected, and this has been picked up. In addition, for the telecom industry as well, optical transceivers were one specific component, which are other than the general components. There are others are general components of electronics which can be used in a variety of electronics goods, whether it is IT hardware, whether it is mobile phones, whether it is auto electronics, whether it is medical electronics. They can be used in a range of applications. Now, against the target of, in fact, for target segment A, B, C, and E, the window closed on 30th September. We have one target segment D, which covers parts and components, basic manufacture and capital goods, which continues to be open. But even against what is closed right now, the investment proposals have far exceeded what we had originally anticipated. So against 59,350 crore, as the minister pointed out, 1,15,351 crore, more than 2 times is the amount that has been committed for investment. Likewise, the production goal is 4,56,500 crore, and against that we have almost 10,35,000 crore. Employment target against 91,600 crore, it is 1,41,000, almost 1.5 times that. And the incentive outgo, which is expected, is about 1.8 times against 22,805 crore. It is 41,468 crore. I think what we need to keep in mind here also is that the overall incentive outgo of 29, and there's a little bit of money in reserve which is meant for the segment D. Going further, the total number of applications we've received are 249 across various categories, and which total to this total amount of investment. And we've already commenced the scrutiny of the eligible applicants based on when they were received, and we will fast track the approval process. Now here it is primarily a first come first serve basis on which this will move, in the sense that those who applied early and those whose proposals are ready quickly, we will push them through quickly so that the production can commence at the earliest. The key features of this, as you can see, is unprecedented level of industry participation. Highest level of single investment by a single company is approximately about 22,000 crore. And then for the first time we see investment in certain items which were not previously made in India, which is assembly passives, laminates, flexible PCBs, anode material, and capital equipment. These are investments which haven't come into India thus far. Many of the others would be scale-up of investments, so these are first-time investments. And as the minister pointed out, this is a testament to the growing global confidence in India's electronic manufacturing system, policy stability, and the comparative advantage that we provide. Again, one of the reasons why industry has been so forthcoming is because we've had extensive stakeholder consultations right from inception, and we built the confidence that there would be policy stability in this area, and we would be able to work with industry to enable this. And this will enable, hopefully, for the country to actually achieve the Honorable Prime Minister's goal of which he has set for the ministry, that we should achieve electronics domestic manufacture of at least 500 billion US dollars. That's roughly about 40 lakh crore worth of manufacture by 2030-31. So that is what we are pushing to do. This is broadly the contours of the scheme.
Thank you, sir. One more thing I would like to add here is, if you recall, when we launched the scheme, one of the requests we had made to the industry was that please invest in your design capabilities. And I'm very happy to share with you that practically every industry participant agreed with that call, and so many of them have started setting up design teams or tying up with other design teams, because that is what is going to give the real competitive advantage to the country and to the industry in India. And this industry has realized they are setting up their design teams or they are tying up with design teams. Practically every second, third day I get feedback from the industry that they have set up 3 people, somebody has set up 50 people team, somebody has set up, there are teams, there are people who have tied up with 1,000 people design teams. So that kind of clarity in increasing the competitive advantage of India is there in the industry. They are making efforts, and government and industry are both working towards the same objective. Can we now take questions? We'll start from this side. Yeah, one by one.
Sir, Rishabh with NTV Profit. Sir, the highest ever investment commitment, if you could reveal what company that is, and also the segment that has not, the application window that is still open, a little comment on that as to what that will contribute to the entire scheme.
Excellent question. The segment which is still open is basically capital equipment. As you are aware, when we are growing in electronics manufacturing, it's very important that the entire capital equipment ecosystem also gets developed in our country. I'm very happy to share with you that in Coimbatore, in Pune, in Bangalore, in Rajkot, in Baroda, a huge ecosystem is gathering momentum for manufacturing and designing capital equipment. Today you go to any of the electronics manufacturing plant, you will find a reasonable number of equipment which are now designed and made in India. We would like that to further strengthen, further deepen, and there again the design capabilities must improve. So that is why the special item of having manufacturing electronics components, electronics capital equipment was kept as a target segment. The first part of your question, which are the companies, I would not like to name the companies at this point of time, because the professional team which is evaluating the applications, they are right now, they are evaluating. So once they evaluate and recommend a name, then only we would like to share it with you. Otherwise it has its implications on the stock market, it has implications on their evaluation process. So as we have maintained in the past, whether in Semicon and all, whenever you would ask any question about which are the companies, we would always say that let the professionals evaluation team, let them evaluate, and then only we will share the names.
Hi sir, a couple of questions. I understand that you don't want to mention the name of the companies, but do you see a clear connection between the companies which have benefited from the PLI scheme so far? Do you see some of their suppliers also showing interest in this? Like, do you see a connection that's getting built up there because that industry already exists and these people might want to sort of supplant that? Do you see that connection? And second,
first question first. So yes, that is one of the factors. Second is because that is what gives confidence. If you have a offtake industry, if you have somebody who's going to buy your components, then obviously it becomes a very important risk mitigation factor. But we have also seen in this application process that many new players, and especially many MSME players, have come in large numbers. I would say about 60% of the applications are from MSME players, and that is what is very heartening, because when the smaller players, they get confidence about a program, about a policy, that's a big game changer for the entire economy. Second question.
Sir, some of the people who have applied much before, have these sort of said, because I think there is a concept of sending out acknowledgement letters, etc. Has that process happened for some of these applicants?
It's all online, no?
It's an online process, so acknowledgement we will say, the approval would take.
Yeah. It's a totally online process where the entire process is basically very transparent,
Right.
as you have seen in all other schemes.
So I'm saying, have you sent out some sort of an acknowledgement?
Anybody who uploads their application, obviously they get an acknowledgement.
That's an automatic process.
Yeah, that's an automatic process. You don't have to get into that. There is no manual intervention.
Understood.
Why was the reason of that question?
Generally.
Hello, sir. Dasmi from Financial Express. Sir, I wanted to understand the government's impetus towards MSMEs in particular.
Yeah.
Predominantly because the large establishments in nature which we're not disclosing as of yet. Because they already have the kind of support and the KPIs that's required. So, would the application for MSMEs have some sort of preference maybe over others, or the vetting process would be similar?
The vetting process is very agnostic to the application, applicant size. It's something basically, whichever application is most complete will be taken up immediately, and as we have said, as Secretary Maiti has said, we are already fast tracking the application process, evaluation process, and as in the past other programs, very transparently it's being done by the team of professionals. The point about MSME, if you look at the entire electronics industry globally, whichever country you take the name, there would always be large finished product manufacturers. Then there would be some medium or large intermediate manufacturers. Then there would be a very large MSME manufacturers. That is the way the entire industry is structured, like a pyramid. And very happy to share with you that once this ecosystem starts taking shape in a country, this shows that the entire industry has now got its feet well established in our country. Had it been only the finished product manufacturers, they can move, right? It's always possible. But getting the entire module and the component manufacturers in the system shows that the entire industry is now firmly establishing in our country. I also want to share one more important data point with you, that for every component which gets manufactured, there is a multiplier impact in the connected sectors. For example, the material providers. For example, the logistics suppliers. For example, the people who are providing other basic facility management services. For example, the catering units which are going to serve the factories. So there is a multiplier impact because of those investments. That also will give significant more employment compared to the direct employment which is going to get generated here. Yeah.
Sir, how much of these investment proposals are based on foreign players, like foreign companies and JVs?
I don't have that breakup. As and when the applications get approved, we'll keep sharing with you. Then you'll come to me.
And is there any proposal which also addresses our need for rare earth in any form? Because a lot of components are dependent on rare earths.
Most of these components don't require rare earth. The anode material has some critical minerals going into it.
Two players.
And two players have already come for that. Magnet नहीं आया ना इसमें. Magnet is not.
D segment में दो players.
दो players. There are two players who will be requiring rare earth, and also you must be aware already that our own efforts at developing the critical mineral supply chain is taking very good shape, and that also will bring results for all of us.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. So firstly, very happy to share you with the entire
Thank you. To you too.
As well. So just I had a couple of questions. You mentioned that the process is underway for scrutinizing the applications that have been received. What I just want to understand is that for applications that are made as a part of a joint venture with some Chinese participation, will there be additional scrutiny applied in terms of maybe transfer of technology or any other conditionalities that the government will be hoping for?
The process related to that is well established. That process we have been following in whatever application comes which has one of the companies from the neighboring country as a partner. That process will continue to follow.
And so just on this laboring on the same point, will it invite scrutiny under press note 3? That is also something that...
The law of the land is very well known.
Just one final question, sir. Very impressive investment outlay that you received, almost 2x what your target was. Is there scope, sir, that there may also be room for conversation within the government on expanding the scheme?
Let's first finish this task in hand.
So, waiting from a couple of questions. Can we expect a couple of approvals by the end of this year?
By the end of this year. Be more ambitious, man. Be more ambitious.
So, do you have a time frame?
No, it's like a daily basis following up is.
Secondly, for the vetting process, is it like a company and just include?
It's a team of professionals. It's a team of professionals. Very transparently they do. None of us get involved in this.
I don't know regarding to any timelines of
very, very rapidly we will move. As you saw from the date of cabinet approval, how rapidly we announced the scheme, how rapidly we completed the application process. The same speed has to be there so to give something better to the next generation.
And sir, just a follow-up question on foreign interest. I know that you can't really reveal the numbers as of now, but can you give us a broad overview of the kind of participation that you receive, the kind of interest that you receive? And secondly, the jobs target that you mentioned, how will you ensure that is met?
So the applications are, if you look at the quality of participation and the variety, display modules, camera modules, non-SMD passive components, which is your capacitors, resistors, inductors, all those items, multi-layer PCBs. It goes into so many different items, whether it is whether it is your laptop, whether it is your camera, whether it is medical electronics. Multi-layer PCBs are very, very crucial for growth of our industry. So that is very important, having electromechanicals, which is small little relays which go into the control circuits. Many of those items are getting manufactured, the heat sinks. Then lithium ion cells for digital applications, the small cells which go into your medical devices, this camera, the microphone, mobile phone, practically everywhere. We are not taking the storage and mobility lithium ion cells in this, right? Lithium ion cells in this. So that is part of the Ministry of Heavy Industries program. Enclosures for mobile, IT hardware and related devices, that again adds value to the finished product. HDI, MSAP, flexible PCBs. These are very, very advanced technologies which again increases the value addition significantly, and these are very difficult to manufacture. They are very advanced technology equipment. The best thing is the way the applications have come. Practically all these components we will not only be able to meet our own demand, but we will also become global suppliers of many of these items. That's the level of interest which has come. Then we have capital goods, I already mentioned. Then we have optical transceivers, which goes into the optical fiber cable networks that we set. There the optical transceiver gets established. This is part of telecom, but electronics is common. That's the base for medical electronics, industrial electronics, everywhere. So practically every sector is connected. Does that answer your question? That I have already answered.
Hi sir, just three quick questions. One is, are there overlaps in terms of one company applying under multiple categories of...
There would be companies who would like to develop their ecosystem in a very big way. So that's a good thing. That's a
Second thing is the gestation period right now is set at 1 year. Is there kind of scope to extend it, because there are some of these might be developed, impending on.
The point is, I don't know, you have to commence manufacture within 1 year.
Yeah.
That is because you have to clear the application and get them going. So otherwise, they just squat. Just to prevent that.
Why do you want to increase that?
Okay, great.
We want production to start yesterday basis.
Alright. So I think there has been a good employment target here also that you have also revised. In the mobile PLI we had exceeded target of production as well as investment, but the employment part was at I think
No, it's huge.
It's huge, but the
Huge.
number was not
Just Apple alone has 3.5 lakh employees now.
And by the end of this calendar year, we'll reach the.
Electronics manufacturing is today employing about 25 lakh persons. It's huge. The numbers are.
So we are confident.
Go to any factory. In fact, in near Bengaluru, we are setting up a new station because in one single factory there will be 70,000 persons. Hosur, we are setting up a new line because new railway line because the demand is so huge. It's 1 lakh persons working in 2-3 factories nearby. These are different. This is a totally different scale. What we have not seen in the automobile sector in the past, in any other sector in the past, it's a totally different scale. So we have to set up housing, we have to set up logistics, we have to set up water supply, electricity supply, training institutions. It's a massive work. So much employment is there.
And just one last thing, you mentioned that there could be a first come first serve kind of system in terms of approvals being granted, but is that capped at the 23919 crore outlay, or is that flexible to be extended, or will that be?
No, so that's very clearly defined in the scheme. The scheme is limited by the total amount which is sanctioned by the cabinet.
Right.
Period.
Thank you.
So those who produce more are the ones who get.
I saw Secret Sharma Hindustan Times. So a lot of states have announced top-up schemes for ECMS. So other than the states that have already announced, are you seeing interest from other states? And if you could tell which states?
So we have requested all the states, like in Semicon, we have requested all the states, and through this press conference, I would like to once again request all states to take this opportunity. This is a very big change that our Prime Minister has brought in the electronics sector, and take this opportunity. मैं सभी राज्यों को आपके माध्यम से निवेदन भी करना चाहूँगा कि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का इकोसिस्टम पूरा बनाने का भारत में जो इतना बड़ा संकल्प लिया और इतना बड़ा जो चेंज इन 11 वर्षों में लेके आए हैं, इस अपॉर्चुनिटी का सभी राज्य लाभ उठाएं। अपने अपने राज्यों में जहां पर भी ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस, ईज ऑफ सेटिंग अप फैक्ट्री, इंडस्ट्रीज को जो सपोर्ट दे सकते हैं, क्योंकि इस इंडस्ट्री में बहुत बड़ा रोजगार उत्पन्न होता है। ये सेक्टर एक ऐसा सेक्टर है, दिस इज अ सेक्टर इन विच द मल्टीप्लायर इज ह्यूज। जितना ज़्यादा इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग आपके राज्य में आएगी, उतना ही आपको रोजगार का बेनिफिट मिलेगा। आपके प्रयास से, आपके इन प्रयासों से देश को बहुत लाभ होगा।
Also with the active and passive scheme that there is to set up an ecosystem, we're seeing a concentration in particular states. Like there are semiconductors coming up in particular states, and then there is ECMS.
I don't think that's true, because if you look at it, so I'll ask a question. What is the mobile phone production? The total percentage of mobile phones produced in the entire country. What is the production percentage in UP? Do a guess, make a guess. It's 60%. So there is no question of concentration. It is spreading very rapidly, and as people get more confident, which is very clearly evident in this entire application process, this is going to be a major industry going forward, and the entire country is benefiting by it.
Thanks.
Good afternoon. Ashish from Goldman Sachs. So you mentioned in point about how companies are either setting up their own design teams or partnering with other companies to set up their design teams in India. One sticking point when it comes to design has been IP ownership. Any government push or incentives to sort of bring that IP rights or more of those rights to India? Because we've always been strong in when it comes to design of PCBs, design of even.
So once people start designing, the IP is theirs. The IP is theirs, and we have seen in the case of, let's say, Vividian, the design of the entire laptop which they have done, where complete design is owned by them. Design of the server they have done, which is totally their own design. The IP is with them,